Rolling pastry and lining a tart tin are very useful basic skills. One often reads an instruction to blind bake a pastry-lined tart shell, and here we demonstrate exactly how to do it using the very buttery short crust that I recommend for both savoury and sweet tarts. You can find the recipe for short crust pastry under Basic Recipes. You will have chilled your pastry, but not so long that it is rock hard. 20 minutes is sufficient. Excessive chilling will mean that too much pressure will probably be used in the rolling and the finished pastry is likely to shrink. Before chilling, shape it into a flat disc or a rectangle depending on what you will use it for. It should be about 2 to 3 centimetres thick. Roll out the full width of the dough. Turn pastry 90 degrees, flip over and roll the other side. Dust with flour. Continue in this way until the pastry is just under ½ a centimetre thick. Pastry likes to be kept cold and your work surface should be cold. Marble is ideal as it remains cool. Invest in a good rolling pin. Use dustings of flour to prevent the pastry sticking. Try to work quite quickly, especially in warm weather. You want to keep the butter as cold as possible. Once it gets thinner, use less pressure. Roll it up on the rolling pin and unroll over the ungreased tin. Gently work it in with your fingers. The pastry does shrink a bit. The safest way to avoid problems with shrinkage is to leave 2 centimetres of extra pastry which can be folded over to create a reinforced edge. Some cooks leave the overhang and shave it off after baking. Once rolled, take a small piece of excess dough, form into a ball and use it to press the dough well into the tin. Long fingernails will cause a disaster with pastry rolling. Another method is to roll off the excess pastry with the rolling pin. This is more likely to result in shrunken sides. A lined tin must be chilled for at least 30 minutes. It could be frozen, well wrapped for a week or so and baked straight from the freezer. Line with baking paper and fill with a generous quantity of pastry weights or dried beans or chickpeas. Push the weights well into the corners, making sure they don't spill over the side of the paper and onto the pastry. Bake at 200 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes. Remove weights and return for an additional 5 minutes until the base is lightly golden. For a tart that will not be further baked, allow 10 minutes. If a liquid filling is intended, such as a savoury custard, once the weights are removed, brush the base with lightly whisked egg white before returning to the oven for the last 5 minutes. The egg white will help seal the base.